Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello, imbecile. Hello.
Hello.
All rise and like, subscribe, and bang the gavel, baby.
That's how we're going to start. If we talk too much, we'll just start. I'll get one of those signs. Just talk back and forth. All rise. Party time, as Bud says. Or for some, it's court time. Order in the court.
Very courty in here today.
Yes. Listen, whatever you're on, we could start with. I have no idea what's going on over here. I just wanted you to see Kimberly Lee with her. I don't know. Is her camera messed up or is it just a
them special effects, son? Or maybe she's in one of those high, really high up prisons where they have laser beams trapping you in.
Maybe I don't
Super
know.
Max.
Very odd. Very, very odd. Well, hope everybody's doing good. This is We Got a Case. Going to be here with at least an hour, if not longer.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see. Jeanette, Ricky, Ed, Fred Franklin. Fred Franklin Day here on the channel. Did you know that, Mikey?
It is. I heard that. I heard the big news.
That's awesome. It's funny. Listen, a lot of you we know very, very well. I must say that Fred is one of the greats that made his way here, because I'll never forget the day that he made his way here. Just stumbled upon us.
He was so confused. He was like, what is this? What are we watching here?
And man, did we try to pronounce his name, but
it always comes out as a curse word every single time.
It did. But 1 year, Double F has been around. Swear to God, I feel like I've known you for years. But
it does. It seems that way, actually.
Cool.
It does feel that way. But jump back over here to mine.
Yes.
Judge Herman in the beautiful Detroit area. He's grimy. He's funky. He's Judge Herman.
And he's behind a Golden Corral wall, like a buffet wall, and then he still has on the plastic mask too.
And he's kind of mad today. He's been kind of feisty.
That whole nose bump thing is very interesting, because she didn't look like she was blowing out. It was
She's up to no good up there.
Yeah.
13th of June, Judge.
Old Buck.
Well, this doesn't require an attorney, so I don't have to stick with PD Day.
He's seeing people everywhere today.
The 9th of June is a jury day.
Now, when I was watching this, Miss Corita wanted some stuff thrown off her record. And there was already confusion.
Well,
Rick's going to have a cold one.
I love the papers just laid out in stacks all the way across that table.
If you've seen that when you were a kid, you knew you were going to have a lot of work in class that day.
Ain't that the truth?
Putting together packets. Right, Lynn? Carol. But yeah, so
June 7th.
He didn't even know what was going on. He said, okay, so this is for a felony? She said, no, misdemeanors.
Just check to see what the prosecutor got their notification and see if they have any issues. Okay?
Okay.
Great name.
Will I get another paper in the mail, or?
You need to notify you about that date?
Well, I'm trying to write it down right now, but
he asked her to say her name.
Paperwork. I didn't know if I needed
says
something.
It and then spells it, and the guy down at the bottom just laughed the entire time she was spelling.
Well, he's bored in jail. I get it.
Also,
is that Morgan Freeman?
Amend the form to
Andy Dufresne.
So, in other words, that paragraph where
that look on her face is exactly mine if I had to be in court.
Where you check 2C about the felony.
I shall forever call you Vincent.
And you also
Vincent Van Gool.
You also need to put the case number on that form in the upper right hand corner and judge. You need to put a complete address on there.
Does she not know how to fill out a piece of paper?
On these papers right here, sir?
No.
Apparently not. He's giving instructions to
The application.
Mark.
I pointed out paragraph 2C.
Yes. Yes.
Just amend
a
it.
true testament to the family.
Do an amended one
Fred.
and write amended on the top.
Please write a review, Fred.
And you need to fill it out. completely.
5-star, baby.
You got to put the case number, the name of the judge. No, you left stuff blank on it.
Uh-oh.
You only put out a partial address.
Me?
Me?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. I had help at the front desk in the front. When you go in and you have to pay cash or whatever. The lady up there helped me fill these out. So
Oh, great! Now throwing the lady up there
I
under the
just seen
bus.
that myself
Yeah.
because I know I don't have a phone. But you saying so? Take this first copy.
He's gonna get pissed. In his
That's
Oh,
the
he's
court.
not gonna like this at all.
well, look,
Yeah, you
I'm
need
not
to
here
get
to help you, fella.
another one. And do an amended one. And
Get the
send it to the
weekend,
same
or
party.
week, kicked
Okay.
off right to the
Second
weekend for me.
right
I guess.
hand corner.
Hallelujah,
It is-
Robert. Thank you.
It's the weekend end,
Distribute form
also
2.
known as Monday.
You send
Yes,
one
yes.
goes to the court, one goes to yourself, one goes to the prosecutor, which is the county prosecutor. Just send an amended form.
Oh, I hope
so
your
one
daughter's
is
all
correct.
right. Naughty
The upper
Nancy.
right hand corner, you don't have the
Naughty.
case number on here
Mhm.
or the judge.
Is
And
this?
then when it says,
Can you see this, Judge?
Are you? Am
Brian,
I?
yes, extremely. That's what the whole channel's about, buddy.
not really.
Am I?
My case
Are you
number is.
looking at what I'm looking at?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. But my
Application
address is on here.
Application,
He's ready.
application to set aside.
No comment. That means
conviction.
yes,
That's what
Brian.
I'm looking at.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm just like her with the papers.
Okay.
That was a weird question, but
The same
Monday, I
form when you
guess.
had checked, that you had a felon.
Where's Jeanette when you need her?
Okay.
Jeanette's
So just this form right here.
watched. Jeanette's
Yeah,
got her
you
eyes.
know, it's kind of hard to see.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to get an understanding
Oh,
because this
bunch of
does have my
racists
case
around
number
here.
on it. It does have my address.
Real quick, 1+ Nord, I think, is going to kill us all. I don't think he's real.
He's inside.
What is happening in the city of Lacey is my question. I think it may have become a zombie apocalypse. I'm not sure.
What that is that she's referring to.
Application set aside convictions.
Correct.
Okay. My
Thank you
name
for the,
is here.
fake
It's just in that
YouTube
one box.
stars. Appreciate that,
Phone
Fred.
number, address. It's right there in the,
The
in the box.
address is
Oh,
not,
God, yeah, they are
ma'am, the address is
Fire
not.
Captain, are you racist?
I can't believe somebody would ask me that. Like, I'm sitting
I
here
just know
watching
when I
court.
got help, she gave me a copy of everything that, that we did. Everything
Ma'am,
you have,
ma'am.
they gave,
Where is it? You have a
Mavis?
case number written in the upper right hand corner
it says 08,
where it says case.
case number and judge. It says 08/303.
Walter, are
It's
you
highlighted
racist?
on my paper.
We are not looking at the same thing then.
Buddy's not all that mad. Hasn't left in
I just wanted her to do
English
these for
paper.
me so I can.
No evil faces as of yet.
Oh, well, that's a great way to start the day after
The lady
Mother's
in the
Day,
clerk's
Angela.
office actually helped me with this. So I didn't, you're right.
Did he
should've-
walk in and
paid
say,
more attention to that part?
I
But I have sent everything to everybody and stuff is coming in, so.
coming in hot. How
I
long is
sent
your
the
term
money,
gonna
to
continue
to
to
everybody.
let
I
her
did
talk?
everything I was supposed to do. And all I got from you
Okay,
was.
look, ma'am,
Okay.
listen.
Nope. There's
What
my
you're
answer.
talking about, where you say you filled it out, is
my
the
God, man.
order that I have to sign.
I don't even remember.
The order that he has to sign.
I threw away a bunch of notes the other day and was really mad about it too, by the way.
That says
thought it was all
order
the
on
family
application.
By the way, Lisa Snoopy, thank you for the 200 stars over on Facebook.
District County.
Oh, hell yeah. I missed it. Or I'm not there yet.
Fingerprints. That was really it with this one.
You wouldn't know it. She had a message on it.
Ma'am,
Oh,
who did that one?
God.
What
Nobody, Jeanette. We were just kidding. Brian's just having a bad day.
So we had a bad day.
Well, we got a second. Let's talk about your daughter. Needs to do a little bit better with the dressing of the bow.
Yes, sir.
That sweater vest, man. I you know, it's really training him for something. You know what I mean?
He's
I mean, it was-
sharp.
Downtown, I will come.
come.
I will come right now. if you want me. I can come now.
How long are we talking about?
20 minutes.
Oh, she's driving down now.
Right down here, right now.
She's like, meet me outside right now.
Okay.
I want to fight you, she's saying.
Looking at what I'm telling you, look.
Okay. Here I come. Do
Here
I
you
go
go.
ahead and exit this?
Well, guess what? Here By the way, I just want you to see Attorney Chris Langley, a hell of a crowd in here today for the city of Lacey. I am.
Packed house of beauty.
Oh, she's very confused.
She's on her
Bless
way
you.
as well.
$2 make you holler. Brian Hoffman,
Okay,
favorite pronoun is?
This is people of the city of Flint versus Benjamin Lafayette Sims. Case number 21G01055OM.
Hello,
What a
Lisa.
jerk.
Today is the date and time set for a,
Do you think that
So
he
far, so-
set a timer to make sure that she's there in 20 minutes?
let me
Oh, yeah,
just
he's
swear you
looking.
in. Let's start there. Raise your right hand to be sworn. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth to the best of your knowledge, understanding. and belief.
Rebecca, I don't know.
Yes, sir.
There's not many
What is your
people around
full
him either.
legal
He's got a
name?
big desk space. I don't know.
Benjamin Lafayette Sims.
He don't want to catch that new computer virus. I say computer virus.
Okay. Today is a show cause hearing. And it was set by Judge Flynn based on,
Damn, I
a
thought I was
bench
caught
warrant
up.
that
And
I
then
had
just
signed.
noticed
You
I'm not.
may-
I signed a
Oh,
bench
I'm
warrant
sorry.
on March 9th of this year.
2 days after my
Asking that you
birthday.
Be held in contempt of court for failing to appear. It says you did not pay fines and costs
Catch me outside. How about that?
by February 28th,
Catch me
2022.
outside. How about that?
And that would have been
You guys
fines and
get that.
cost of
Everybody's thinking the same, I guess.
$25. And you failed to appear for a show cause hearing on March 7th, 2022.
My birthday.
I think. Maybe. But look who's sleeping. Michael is somebody's still in bed. Oh, no,
Hey,
that's not
girl.
Michael.
He's like, look at my piece. Look at my piece up in here. My piece.
All right. Ms.
Oh, and he's
Langley,
smoking.
Have your plea form.
What a great
here.
day over here. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we got to
Just-
sit here
we
for a
gotta
second.
stay here, yeah.
This
Dude.
plea form with Ms. Langley.
He's smoking. She's still in bed. This girl,
Now, by
I
pleading guilty to the theft charge, you're giving up your rights in this case. So that means that you're giving up the right to take your case to trial,
Larry,
to have the
Larry Cobb,
prosecutor
everybody.
prove that charge against you
Terrell.
beyond a reasonable doubt to a
Terrell.
jury. The right to call witnesses into court who could testify in your defense. The right to hear the witnesses testify against you and question them. You give up the presumption of innocence on this charge
Thank
and
you.
the right to appeal your conviction to a higher court. Do you understand all of those rights?
Yes, I do.
The maximum
Was-
sentence you
Was
can
she
get
trying to
is
steal a webcam?
364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. And I see that there's a sentencing recommendation here on your plea form, but you need to understand, I don't have to follow that. I could impose any sentence up to the maximum.
Yes, I understand.
Okay, and then did anyone make any threats or any promises to you to get you to plead guilty today?
No.
And there's a statement.
Mavis sent 5 bones.
It says,
Yes, here.
Thank you,
merchandise
Mavis.
from the
Thank you,
Walmart in
Mavis.
Lacey and left without paying. Is that your statement?
Yes, sir.
All right, then I will accept your plea.
Captain Happy, I had a good time. I'm glad I went. I was kind of on the
All right,
fence
anything
because
further,
it's not
as to your
100% as far as just a little weak.
Well,
you
just
know? A lot of
due
walking.
to the age of the
It was
case,
fun.
the city's really not asking for any extended probation conditions.
Mikey said
recommendation?
lasers
No law
lit.
violations, don't go to Walmart.
Laser.
Well, and just close it after the assessments.
Close.
you know.
Okay, I see.
It's
I
been
see.
2 years.
All right. Ms. Langley?
Yes, we asked for that too. I will let the court know that she did do some things on her own to help address what led to this, and I think the court won't see her again. Thank you.
You're
All
welcome.
right. And Ms. Lee, do you want to tell me anything before I decide on your sentence?
No, sir.
Okay. Do you have the ability to pay a $43 assessment?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, then that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, sorry,
I'm
phone
not gonna
guy.
Impose any jail
Oh,
time
no.
or any fines.
Good luck.
Just a $43 assessment, and then your case is closed. No,
Okay.
you're not going to be.
I like
placed on
trains.
probation or time as part of this case.
Okay, thank you.
70s in Wisconsin. That's like August weather there, old buck.
There's attorney Chris Langley.
I actually think that's
Parachute.
Ms. Langley,
pretty close.
Anything else?
same look. Look at the look. You just had the look to them.
We'll vote on Mr. Butler's plea form, so we should have that. in a minute.
Let me check.
That's actually spot on. That's a good NFT. I like
Yeah,
that.
I was hoping he would call.
Have you had a chance to call her?
Oh God, she gets uglier by the minute.
Still working on it? Okay.
Who, Charlene? You racist?
Well, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that.
And I did,
Ulysses, save me.
put Mr. Butler's plea form.
Okay, great.
So I'll be there in a minute or two.
Thank you.
You captured you really did good on that. I'm impressed.
I grabbed her soul and I put it to canvas.
The
I
hair
saw
even
Butler
is pretty spot on.
Oh
labeled
yeah, her hair is a mess.
Okay.
But the marks right here you captured just, I mean, beautifully. It's eloquent.
I feel like it's
yeah, just-
really
I'll
beautiful.
finish this plea form and then you can give her.
See, that's right there. Oh.
Is Michael talking
Uh-oh.
about
Yeah.
Applebee's?
Yeah.
Oh, no, up here.
Just hold on, Mr. Bailey.
I think we're probably not going to resolve the case today. I guess we could just set for trial, and then Mr. Bailey could give me a call, and we could work on a resolution.
All right.
Just got hit with a stick or
that might
9
work.
million
Okay,
cigarettes.
Mr. Bailey, before you go, hang on. I'm going to try and get you out of here. Okay.
I like that he's talking to
As
his
well.
chick behind him.
Yeah. I'm going to make.
No,
sure that we have
it's a
good
guy in court that
communication, so
it just switched this DC. There he is.
Oh, that guy's yelling.
Yeah, it wasn't I thought it was Michael.
Bailey,
I
are
did
you
too.
on, Shadow Place in Olympia.
Shadow Place. That's
Bailey
where I
was
live.
Shadow Place. That's good. Excellent. All right, Mr. Bailey, you can go. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you a trial date.
He's the last in line.
Stay in touch with Ms. Langley. Okay, let's
Thank you. Thank
shift
you.
focus here to Mr. Butler.
She hit every branch on the way down.
All right, and Mr. Butler, sir, can you hear me? Okay.
Caster coming in hot.
There he is.
Yes, I can hear you.
Angie.
Okay, so Mr. Butler, I've got a
Beautiful
guilty
Arizona.
statement here from you to the charge of theft. Did you go over that guilty plea statement with Ms. Langley?
What do you think Michael stole?
Yeah.
All right. Any questions about guilt?
What do you think? I'm racist? I'm not drawing him.
Anything you'd like to ask me about that?
I think like Caster stole
Yeah,
some food or something.
Just one.
I think when you I was listening to the last hearing before about the theft charge as well of the
Oh, Michael's the one that
I
stole.
think if I remember right, something about
He
it
stole a
said
white
something
woman.
about law-abiding behavior for 2 years, something like that. I've already had law-abiding behavior for the 2 years. This is from 2019.
Okay. All right, and we'll definitely talk about that before any sentence is imposed.
Is Castor a
Any
mailman?
other questions for me
Okay,
about
that was
pleading
it.
guilty? That's it? All right.
Maybe.
So now you're giving up
no,
your
Or a paramedic.
part of this case when you plead guilty. So that means you are giving up the
Or a
right to take your
pilot,
case to
maybe?
trial.
Could be in an airplane. though.
Prosecutor proved this charge beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury. The right to call witnesses to testify in your defense. The right to hear witnesses testify against you and question them. You're giving up the presumption of innocence.
Carol,
and the right to
enjoy the pew pew
Do
trade.
you understand those
I
rights?
love that you're working for the cartel now. Good for you, Carol.
Gun running.
All right. And the maximum sentence is 364 days.
And it agrees. And as Angie said, her fat ass is melting.
There's a sentencing
Yesterday.
recommendation here on your guilty plea.
Angie, you correct me.
And it could impose up to the maximum sentence.
That's funny.
Mr. Butler, did anybody make any threats or promises to you to get you to plead guilty to this charge?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then.
Looks like he's in a work
accept
truck,
your
Castor.
Guilty plea. All right, and
In
Mr.
trouble with
a
the
straight
ability
rib.
anything further?
Mail, perhaps.
I think I'd probably, Mr. Butler just raised a good point. I think I'd like to handle him the same way as Miss Lee and just ask for a $43 assessment close when paid. And I think Miss Langley will indicate to you
I
that
saw
he
Petra on
has
his jacket. I think you're right. I think he's a mailman.
in this
I think so. It
interview
kind of looks like a mail
24
truck.
or 22
And
months
same with
to,
his.
kinda get
attire.
things straightened out. So
Caleb?
I guess I would.
How's your mini-me?
That recommendation.
Speaking of
at
racist,
this
how's your
point, just the
mini girlfriend, Caleb?
close when posted.
All right, Ms. Langley?
Thank you. Yes, and as Mr. Swoboda was indicating, my client he did a chemical dependency evaluation and just finished his treatment program. So I think, I think better things are ahead for him. And I would ask the court to close the case once he pays the fine.
All right, well, Mr. Butler, it sounds like you raised a good point and convinced everybody.
Right in the middle of
Is there
court.
Anything else you'd like to tell me?
I'm staying out of Lacey, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm busy laid
I'm
up with this.
certainly not going to tell you you can't go to Lacey. All right, Mr. Butler, I appreciate all you've done here in the meantime. I know this case has been pending a while. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you the 1 day in jail, but credit for the 1 day that you already served. $43 fine, and that's it. Case will be closed. No probation or anything like that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Oh,
Thank you, Mr. Butler.
I do have one more question.
Yeah, no matter what you do, it's 40. It's like $46.
Is there
You're
any, is there
Do your
do I have any other warrants anywhere or anything? Are you guys able to check that?
Yeah, I just wondered, can I leave my house with my lady?
Using and stuff, so I was,
Just make sure I ain't got no other warrants, Your
Right now
Honor.
and see if there's anything showing.
There's a couple of years there where I went a little cray cray.
No.
I did some shit, Your Honor.
Warrants out at all.
Not gonna lie.
in like Pierce County or anything.
No, I don't see any.
That's a great question. Good for the judge to entertain that.
Yeah.
I'm good to go.
Look at his attorney's even laughing.
Yes, he
Do I
is.
just come down there like to pay the $43 or whatever. Can I do it online?
Do you take
You
pennies?
can do it both ways, either way you want to.
Okay, thank you.
Very chill judge. Very, very
Hey.
chill judge.
Okay.
Before I leave
Langley?
this house, do I got anything pending?
If that is it for me and that everyone on my
Bring up
calendar-
a halfway decent idea. They're just like, all right, $43, you good to go. And do you need a warrant check? I'll do it for free.
Yeah. Let me give you a quick months ago. I got to find out what Castor did now.
All right. Mr. Vandenbosch, did we cover all your clients or did you? have
Castor,
another one?
I
Mr.
can't
Bickles.
stick around for longer than 1 minute.
Yes, Your Honor. He's
Uh-oh.
connecting right now.
He's back again.
We will still be requesting a set over, but I'm going to be requesting a longer set over, and I can explain why.
Sure.
Thank you.
Go
So,
for it.
Mr. Bickle is thinking, he's trying to get into an ABHS treatment program in Spokane. He believes that's about 30 to 90 days long. He also has several pending felonies as well. So
There's a few with
my
the
request
two
is to
cabs. I don't like it.
for 60 to 90
Very
days.
weird.
He also thinks he may be able to get his license, which is not information that I was
Oh my
aware
gosh.
of.
He got
until that
felonies
moment.
too.
So
He looks like
could
a
affect things.
criminal.
My request
All
is
right.
60 to 90 days. The court is willing.
Then if you want to do that, how about
Ninth.
if I also assign you
Ninth.
that driving while suspended third that's set for arraignment on Thursday? You could just waive arraignment now.
He's
and
got
we'll
felonies,
put
Your
the
Honor.
Pretrial together on that case.
And a dog.
The driving while suspended second.
Oh, I'm waiting for his
Yes, Your Honor, thank
KKK
you.
stuff
So
all
he,
behind
did
him.
briefly go over
Speaking of
the matters. He
racist.
understands that he has a right to go to trial in this case. He understands his constitutional rights. He enters a plea of not guilty and requests that I be assigned to it as well.
Okay, I'll enter that plea and assign Mr. Vandenbos. Okay, Mr. Bickle, your mailing address, 45th Avenue Southeast in Lacey.
Bickle.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Sabota, any objection to a long set for next pretrial?
No, but I'd certainly ask that he clear his, I don't know if it's a Lewis County or.
I see what you did there,
County
Willem.
felony warrant.
Yep, I'm doing that right after your report.
I mean, we have a little meeting and we're
So
going to burn some crosses and
Bickle,
stuff.
we'll get your
I'll be
next
down
court
there at
date
some
set.
point.
It's going to be a little
Sometime
ways
I'll be
off
there.
with the idea that you're going to be doing some treatment.
Ghost.
Ghost. Good to see you.
And if you have any questions about what's going on, give Mr. Vandenbos a call, but we'll get that court date right out to you. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bickle.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, he wanted everybody to see he's a little badass because he's got some
And
chest
is that,
tattoos.
Is that it for you, Mr. Vandenbos?
It is. Your Honor.
Mr.
No, I
Bickle
wasn't-
the Bigot.
but Everybody was here.
Okay. Yeah. No. Good.
He may like
Everybody's,
pickles, but he'll
on board.
never
That's
let
good.
you know it.
All right. Take care, Mr. Vandenbos.
Thank you, Honor. Madam Prosecutor, Madam Clerk, Mr. Prosecutor.
All right. And
All
What's
right.
Bickle doing now? Why's Bickle just staring at us?
He's Creed
Yeah,
frame
Mr. Lewis is ready. it
at the
looks
moment,
like.
or he just wanted
Okay.
everybody to see that
yeah,
he's got
Mr.
makeup
Lewis,
on.
you ready to
today.
call
One of the
Ms. Anderson's case?
I believe we are, Your Honor.
Let's
Thank
go
you.
over here.
I have no idea what we're doing. We were just talking to a guy in a car.
We got, do we have another plea?
God, those new masks are so weird looking on people.
The duck mask.
Okay, Mr. Jones?
We just had a great guy in a car driving and talking to the judge. Now we pull out and
What's wrong with these gentlemen?
Rollins? Oh,
Because
this
they're
is
black,
cause
Mikey.
number
not enough.
327-880, cause number 327-882, and cause number 327-884. All three cases are style of state of Texas versus Dustin Travis Valentine. Valentine? Mr. Valentine.
I like Valentine.
I like Valentine
is that
too.
your full name?
Yes.
How you doing?
The announcer
Thanks for asking.
said
Valentine,
Ross
you're
Chastain's
represented by your
name
attorney,
wrong
attorney
yesterday, and the
Jones.
whole
Jones,
crowd
how you doing?
laughed. He's called it like Chase.
Okay, Mr.
I mean, that's kind of a big deal.
He had one
Jones, what's
job.
your announcement in Mr. Valentine's case or cases?
No, we just got a plea offer today.
Hey.
The 2 minutes.
Haven't even had a chance to relay it to my client yet.
Oh, he's gonna pick them all right.
Continue to another resetting.
He almost showed it to you.
It's one of the little ones, the little
Gherkin.
Okay,
It's
so
a
we'll keep it
gherkin.
on the-
Baby gherkin.
Exactly how much time do you need?
With, end of June, yeah.
In the June. Would that be June 27th? Okay, Mr. Valentine?
Martin, I thought you were a Dave
you
Matthews
said
Band
reset for
fan.
June
Like,
27th. Stay in contact with your attorney about them. Your attorney is gonna sign for your reset. Once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes,
And Mr. Johns, I think this is your only cases. So once you sign for your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
I
Mr.
thought that was
Valentine.
the doctor from the other day. Okay,
He just looked at the camera when you said that. Like, what'd you say?
can you hear me?
He seemed like
Very,
a nice guy.
Great court you found there.
Look, I can't hear what they're talking about. I just know they're talking.
I just want to see what's going on here.
Whoa.
Or is it only 30 days? Let's look it up.
Love these shots like this where you kind of could see everything going on.
The lady looks very concerned sitting there next to I'm guessing the attorney.
Yeah, it's almost like she's trying to look over her boyfriend's to her boyfriend's phone, to see.
Yeah,
what's
trying to
going
read
on
what's
today,
going on. Yeah, like, what's going on
Got
there?
that look. I believe that the choice of tissues here is puffs with lotion, and that I can't do. The lotiony can't do it.
I'm with you on that. Sometimes I'll grab those by accident to clean my glasses, and next thing you know, I can't see anything.
Oh God.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
does require 45 days and for class misdemeanor.
Yes, a lot of wood panels in courtrooms.
State agreed
That's
to
kind of
change
classy.
that.
Hello,
Brigitte.
Nancy, use those with the. I can't do it. I can't have any smells. Ooh, what were you doing in the back? Were you guys taking video? Making a
He's like,
video, were ya?
I got the laptop. I was going to take it with me to the bathroom, but now you're here.
I saw this dude. I was standing out, smoking a cigarette up back in the grandstands yesterday. Coming down from the grandstands was just a perfect Knox. Like it didn't really look like him so much, but just more of a
Had to walk.
Just that hey, the walk that he's got. I wasn't paying attention. I looked at him so hard when he was coming down that like we made eye contact. I was really uncomfortable. And I was like, how do you explain that one? You know what I mean? Like I didn't even realize. I just
You look like my idiot friend walking down.
Barajas, you could be sentenced up to 30 days in the county jail. You could also have a fine of
What's up?
$500 plus a 78% surcharge. Your particular plea agreement says that as to count one, you'll be sentenced.
Oh, there is a big pull down right there, isn't there? Right up
that
in
will
there.
run concurrent to any prison sentence
Nice.
in CR 2021-00049.
Laptop boy, would you like round two? Because we got a minute. That's what she just got up to tell him.
She's like, we have a.
As
Well,
to count three, it
look,
says
I
that
don't
you'll serve
said it
30
like
days
that.
in the Gila County
He's
jail.
very like he walked
Also
out with it all
provides that
open,
you'll
like
pay
his name's
$750
Emily
cost of
Blowers.
Prosecution fund assessment,
Makes me nuts.
and your release conditions will be.
She like
revoked
grab the
in
screen and carry it by the screen like she's a dog.
Or a
You know what I mean?
child.
Like, it makes me
Rich
crazy.
and Donna Griffith, in amounts to be determined by the court. Restitution will be held open for 90 days after sentencing.
Street Great, funny you said that. Mario
request.
Batali is on the stand or not on the stand, but his
He's
thing
in
started
trouble.
today for groping.
She'll pay up
It's a
to $50
groping trial,
for the address
and the
confirmation
audio
of the
sounds.
program. She'll attend
So
and
it's
complete a
kind of funny.
court-approved domestic violence treatment program. She'll have no
Yes.
contact with Marcelina Rich or Donna Griffith.
Yes.
That your conviction will be reported to the Arizona.
She is the abuser.
Will revoke.
Not Heidi. Not Heidi. Heidi is
No,
not
no.
an abuser. Lady is,
agreement
though.
also
Thank you for the 5 bones.
The thick girl sitting there on the far side of your screen.
The allegations of one prior felony conviction will be dismissed.
Her boyfriend
Just like you
/
understood the
husband,
agreement
that they're not
to
really
Mr.
married.
Barajas.
Do you think he's tiny?
Barajas, you're
Like
welcome
100
to
pounds,
stand
120
if you want
pounds?
to, but you're also
Boy,
welcome
she
to
beat the
stand
hell out of him.
Yeah.
this process. So. And that's fine. If you are going to stand,
No, the funny part is the
keep
audio's
speaking with a loud voice so
awful
that
and
the recording
like really bad.
Get your voice. Okay. Mr. Mata.
Matza.
Agreement.
Mr. Matza
You
balls.
plead guilty to count 1 of the direct indictment in your case, possession of narcotic drug for sale, a class 2 non-dangerous non-repetitive felony, committed on or about March 13, 2020. You need to be aware that Class 2 felonies carry a mitigated minimum sentence of 3 years, a minimum sentence of 4, presumptive sentence of 5, a maximum sentence of 10 years, and an aggravated maximum sentence of 12.5 years. And there's no Department of Corrections.
Wow.
Could be some serious time.
Carries a $150,000 fine, or up to a $150,000 fine plus a 78% surcharge.
What's this surcharge he keeps talking about?
Your plea agreement says you must pay $750 to the cost of prosecution fund. That your release
Vincent,
conditions will be
flush of
revoked pending
Vincent.
sentencing. She'll pay a fine of not less than $2,000 plus a 70% surcharge.
Yeah. Anybody know what the surcharge is? That is kind of
In
weird.
exchange, it says counts 2, 3, 4, 5, and the allegations of true prior felony convictions will be dismissed.
Can we get this guy a
But
desk?
you understood your plea agreement to provide, Mr. Mata?
I mean, he's taking laptop very literally.
He's actually using it on his lap. That's interesting.
I'm
Like
going to
doing
get back
work.
to questions for both of you at the same time. So did you go over your written plea agreement with your attorney, Mr. Barajas?
She just came from the back and she's like, all right, laptop boy don't want me. How about you there, beefcakes?
Did you
What do you think, huh?
sign your plea agreement, Mr. Barajas?
Oh, he's really getting into it now. Do you hear that?
Did you read the entire agreement before you signed it, Mr. Barajas?
B.A.
Did the attorney explain the agreement to you before you signed it, Mr. Barajas?
No, I just think you might be high.
Sorry, Mr. Mata.
B.A. Baracus.
Did you have the opportunity to ask your attorneys questions about your agreement before you signed it, Mr. Barajas?
He just likes saying it.
Yeah, it does. Just likes hearing himself now.
Who are we talking to? I don't see anybody there.
Either in regard to your plea agreement or your case, Mr. Barajas. Mr. Mata.
Mikey, check your personal PP.
Personal pan pizza.
I think that Carol's cutting you in on the cartel drug or gun running. that She's doing.
Gun hauling.
I will give you a
You
Baracus.
plead guilty, Mr. Barajas. Mr. Mata. Has anyone threatened you in any way to get you to plead guilty?
20 bones from Carol.
Hell yeah, Carol.
Do you understand that if you're sentenced to prison, and actually,
Many thanks,
both
Carol.
of you are provide that you will
That's
be
for you,
sentenced to
Carol.
prison. The law requires you to serve a term of community supervision, which must run consecutively to the prison sentence. The length of the term is approximately 1/7 of the prison sentence that is imposed. Do you understand that, Mr. Barajas?
Oh, he screwed it up that time. 100th time he screwed it
You
up.
also understand that if you violate the term of community supervision, you could be required to spend the balance of time in prison, Mr.
Yes.
Barajas. Mr. Mata.
So you got Mata and Baracus. There's a Mr. Mata.
Y'all pity the fool. Y'all pity the fool.
Mr.
Baracus.
Loss to anyone, you'll have to pay for that loss.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Possibilities and requirements, Mr. Barajas. Mr. Mata.
That was rough.
Is that what they're doing? Talking to the jury, Ed? I just am not even paying any attention to.
The
Is that
jury's-
no?
yeah, the jury's not going to jail.
No.
Yeah, no, they're not
And,
talking to the
uh,
jury.
even though the
Threatening
state
the jury is
sustained
that what we're saying?
Baracus.
an allegation of prior felony.
Y'all pity the fool.
That appears
McKenna.
you have prior felony convictions.
Carol,
within the
love it.
past
Thank
10
you.
years or
Much
committed
better
this
than
offense
bingo.
while on probation or parole. Those facts could be considered as aggravating circumstances in determining what an appropriate sentence should be. Mr. Barajas.
Y'all pity the fool.
Mata.
Mata. Mr. Mata.
Y'all pity the fool.
Do you understand that if I conclude that the provisions
You're
of
welcome.
your plea agreement are inappropriate, I can reject your plea of guilty, and if I do that, I will give both you and the state
Attorneys
the
at law.
opportunity to adopt
So do you think they're like right around in
what
here?
happened, and the
Like
original
the
charges would be reinstated, and you would go to trial on those charges. Do you understand that,
thought they
Mr.
were
Barajas?
friends.
Mr. Mata?
Mata Effer.
Are you currently on probation or parole in any jurisdiction, felony or misdemeanor, Mr. Barajas? Mr. Mata? Oh.
The only reason why I'm here is to hear him pronounce that name.
Baracas. Mata.
But I've had enough.
Mr.
Oh yeah, look, I think
Lopez,
he's talking
aren't
to
you
him right
on
now.
probation in
Anyways,
2021.
see what we got over here.
00749.
We got a pretty packed house over here.
Want to put in docket notes?
Judge Jason looking more womanly every day.
Baracas. Oh, somebody needs to change the batteries in the smoke detector. Is it me or does Miss Mills hair extra slick down today?
Can you guys just see like Carol standing there with one of those big things, the wooden crate with a bunch of hay in it,
She's like cracking it open with a pry bar and flips it back, and it's just
Yeah.
loaded with pew-pews.
Yeah, the weird ones though.
Oh,
from
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
countries, like some of
yeah.
the big like round things on them,
Yeah. This one was, come from Guatemala. And
Yes.
they were used by the guerrillas.
I could see it.
She's selling new ones. She's selling ones that got bodies on.
Okay,
them.
bond has been
They-
signed and saved. Make sure I got everything in there.
They picked up a big crowd over the weekend. I don't like Mills's hair like this. She doesn't look like she belongs on Roseanne's show tonight.
That's right. That's her.
Quentin Freeman.
Larner.
Your Honor, my next
Nancy.
case is position 7. I'm not sure if Miss Taylor
Two
has
times.
finished speaking
Mine's
to everyone
yanked
quite
down.
yet.
And
Okay, she's still, okay.
I will go out without cigarettes and Mountain Dew faster than I'll go without getting a replacement battery.
Okay, position 7.
I will run out any time of night to go get a 9.
Good old position 7. Who doesn't love position 7? Am I right, guys?
P7 is the
I believe this is the case that the victim wants to speak to the court. Give me one moment to pull everything up.
He wanted to speak to the court. Oh, this ought to be good.
I
Is
think
that-
that might be something different. That's a different chirp, isn't it?
I don't know. It might be Mills's. She looks like she's at home. Like she's got a little rinky-dink apartment or something. She's a public defender, which means she makes no money.
We won't tell any more of your.
We're keeping it
All
on
right,
the
we can let the
download.
victim in, Miss Baylor.
Oh, victim coming in hot. This ought to be good. Bring in the victim.
Oh God, Heidi.
Oh,
That's actually kind of terrifying.
that is scary. They should keep the jury like shadowed. Yeah, you can't see them. You only go by like aliases. I heard it's deadly if done incorrect.
There you go. A Nextel chirp.
They're trying to get the victim in.
Nancy,
Victim
right?
statements are always pretty good.
We had to have people come out and look at ours because even with the batteries pulled and everything, remember that? I was going nuts. It was like 3 or 4 days.
You could hear it in the background of shows.
Like, yes.
Kind of like this. Where we keep hearing it pop off. Am I the only one that's looking at the door behind Mills expecting someone to open it?
To burst through it. Angie, you finally moving in with Knox. I'm glad to hear that, Angie.
Okay, we're having problems with the victim connecting
Have
to
fun.
audio.
Where are you moving to, Angie?
So what I'll do is
Carol and
just
move
come back to that
down
case.
through houses?
You can have a seat, sir. Well, once Ms. Johnson comes on, we'll proceed. What's your next case, Ms. Mills?
Yeah, wait to
Position
slow
10,
things down,
Mr.
Miss
Murray.
Mills. Mr. William Murray.
Ms. Baylor, let me know if you see that she has connected, please. I'm going to go ahead and move on.
But he goes by Will Murray.
They were interacting with each other, Ed. All of them. It's very weird. And it also made us nuts. You're right. I think that is a closet.
Somebody
Or
could
she-
still
All right,
come out of it.
Mr. Murray,
Keeps her- It's one of those. It's like connected. Like you remember the door. You know, you ever go to a hotel
Like,
room
you're
that has
for
one of
the
them
corner
beds? The
robbery
Murphy,
by
is it called the
sudden
Murphy bed, where it
snatching.
comes out of
The
the
warrant
wall?
is 22W0070007. The warrant alleges that this incident happened in the city of Atlanta on Hammond Drive, DeKalb County jurisdiction on May 7, 2022. The warrant alleges that you did commit the offense of robbery by snatching from a victim, stranger unknown to you. Okay, so with that being said, let me go
Brenda.
over criminal history on position 10.
Vincent.
Mr. Murray, I show that you have 8 cycles of criminal history, a 2020 theft by shoplifting for which you're on 5 years probation in Gwinnett. Then you have a 2021 theft by shoplifting and you're on 5 years probation in Henry. You currently have pending 2 theft by shopliftings that are pending
I'll
from
BRB.
2019 in DeKalb.
You go right ahead.
And I believe they're and DeKalb. And you have a Mississippi pending case in May 2020 for forgery. Okay, with that being said, I'll hear from the state. Ms. Fortson.
Yes, Judge, we are showing pending out of, I believe you did mention the one out of DeKalb. There's one out of Atlanta. There's one out of Columbus. And then there's a 2021 conviction per probation
He's
violation.
doing
I
the
believe it's
snatching.
state. So just based on the multiple theft by shopliftings.
He may
and
have a
then the
pew pew. I don't know.
3 that are pending, the state is recommending no bond. It's not that this was violent. I mean, it was violent. It was snatched. There weren't firearms or anything used. The victim wasn't injured.
There
However,
wasn't? Sorry.
just the propensity to reoffend.
No
since he's already on probation and
No
has several
firearm.
pending theft
Just
by
the
shoplifting. So
snatching.
just ask for no bond in this case.
Okay, Ms. Mills.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Murray is 21 years old and he has been in Georgia for his entire life. Your Honor, he grew up in the foster care system and I believe he has just been living a life of poverty throughout his 21 years. He's had a rough go of it. I also believe that is reflected in his criminal history, that he's just been impoverished his entire life. But at this point, Your Honor, our only contact information for Mr. Murray is his foster mother who lives in the area. And as far as I understand it, he's been looking for a job but has not been able to hold a job. And he currently is trying to find housing as well. Your Honor, he won't be able to post any bond, just to be frank, but I do understand that this is a bail restricted offense. So our request today for Mr. Murray is $1,000.
He's
Okay,
he's
thank
already
you.
a lot
I
of
agree
trouble.
with the state. I'm a bit concerned about the escalating conduct, the activity. He is on probation, even though they're for misdemeanor counts. I do think he's at risk to reoffend, but based
out,
on the
Nancy.
overall incidents, I'm sorry, can you repeat the outstanding warrants, Ms. Fortson?
You might want to give that
yes,
up
just
to start
there's
something new.
the pending charges, is that what you mean? Out of DeKalb, there's a theft by shoplifting from 2019. There's a theft by shoplifting out of Atlanta for 2019.
like
There's
that,
one
Carol.
out of Columbus, Georgia from 2020. And then there's
Tell ya.
those are all the pending charges.
Okay,
Missing
so
the
that's why I
phone.
have theft by shoplifting times.
What up,
3. Okay.
old mullet
So,
man?
yeah, there's shopliftings, he's on probation, escalating, you know, what happened in this case allegedly at MARTA.
Creed, how was the race?
Yeah, I'm concerned on the escalation of behavior. So anyway, $7,500 regular bond on this case, and you're certainly on probation for other charges, sir. So I do hope that somehow, some way, you can find a way to be able to recover and get proper footing in life. But this is a $7,500 regular bond
He's not
for
getting
robbery
out.
by snatching.
He's not getting out. Yeah, it doesn't mean you got to break.
What's next?
You can't be all snatchy.
Position 11, Mr. Rosamond.
Got to be all the snatcher and all. You just gotta take it easy. Oh,
Now we
well.
it's returned to Mr. Lacey. I believe it looks like the alleged victim in his case is now connected.
Okay. All right,
If the
Mr.
ATF is
Lacey.
watching, Carol's just joking.
Okay.
Them's jokes.
Podium.
Death by shoplifting. Put him in for life. Yeah, he's not getting out. If he wanted $1,000 bond because he couldn't afford it, he definitely can't afford a $750 one. And he's escalating. It's going to be armed robbery next. Are we going to put this witness up here or what, man? We're waiting on this witness for this testimony.
I'm a little bit confused, unless she's using somebody else's phone. I have Linda Johnson, but the victim in this case is Miss Berry. Miss Berry, if you can unmute for me and go ahead and start your video.
My favorite line from
Or
Friday.
if it's Miss Berry.
Berry don't know.
I had the same question.
The older the berry, the sweeter the juice. Man, that ain't how it goes.
Can you unmute, please?
He could.
I'm not sure I'm not sure this is Miss Berry. I think this
You
is
think this is
somebody
somebody
who's put in.
impersonating Miss Berry?
The person that has the phone by the name of Linda Johnson, can you please unmute yourself so that I can hear who you are?
Yeah, this is true.
I actually think she may be here on Mr. Johnson on position 6, is just observing, and put her back in the waiting room.
Okay.
They're having a time today figuring out who's who.
So we'll go back in the order. I don't prefer to be out of order so we can all be, but I know we have to today since the defense attorney didn't get to speak to. So we are on, let's see, I believe you said position 11?
Yes,
Ms.
Judge.
Hill? Okay, thank you. All right, let's go ahead and have Mr. Rosamond come to the podium, please.
Next. If you can't hear me, unmute yourself. Judge Jason's typically all right. We
All
see
right,
her a
and
lot.
Mr. Rosamond, you're before the court. 3 warrants, 22W006964. The first warrant charges you with reckless conduct. Discharging a firearm in a hotel room. You're charged with criminal damage to the property, discharging
Any
that firearm.
guesses
damage
on
exceeded
the kind of hotel?
$500, and you're charged with pandering. That is a misdemeanor. So those are the charges
Pandering.
before the court. Let's see, Mr. Rosamond. I don't believe he has any criminal history. Ms. Fortson?
That's correct, Judge. He has very old cycles that were dismissed, one out of Georgia and one out of Florida, a very, very long time ago. Just due
This
to the
guy
fact
is in
that
trouble for
shots were
discharging a
fired,
firearm
no,
in
he
a
had
hotel
some
room. So I
concerns about
imagine him like
self-defense. However, there were
celebrating.
allegedly 3 shots fired in the hotel room. So the state is recommending a $5,000 bond and a do not return to the hotel location.
Okay, Ms. Mills?
Thank you, Your Honor.
I did.
From my reading of
It
the
was
warrant,
good. It
appears
was-
that
it
Mr.
was okay.
Rosamond is the one who called the police after these shots were fired. So I do believe that this might turn out to be a self-defense case.
Uh-oh.
Given the fact that Mr. Rosamond has no criminal history, I do believe that he is a good candidate for bond. He is 56 years old and is originally from the state of Mississippi. He is a business owner. The business that he owns builds towers to help with different installations for cell phone services. That is also a family business. His children help him out with that business. So that's a stable job. And like I said, he's the owner of that business. Unfortunately, he is disabled. He has some physical health issues that cause him some problems. It's just different issues with his legs and his heart. So that is a concern of ours, that he's suffering from his physical ailments while he is in custody at this time.
I'm thinking the same thing.
Your Honor,
Either that
given
or budget tell.
his lack of any criminal history, the allegations here, and the fact that he is the one who called police to the scene that evening, we are requesting bond in the amount of $3,000 for Mr. Rosamond.
Okay, I'll grant, actually issued it, so I'm familiar with the facts. So 1,000 for the first 2 charges, 500 on the second. Total bond is $2,500 regular bond. So your family will have to post about $250 Sure, they won't be happy to hear your third charge, but anyway, your bond is $2,500. You have to post, they have to post a little over $250 through a bonding company. No special conditions.
So
and
he was looking for a prostitute, is
$2,000,
what I'm
$1,500
pandering.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's why she said your family probably won't be too happy about this third charge, but.
Now, I had to back this one up a little bit because I was just watching the end of it live.
I like what I'm seeing, though.
From what little tidbits that I heard, and I backed up a little bit, were really good. So I'm going to let it roll for a few minutes. Let's see if we want to get into it. If not, then we'll move on. But
Ms. Reeves, Mr. Ward. So Ms. Reeves, are you asking the court to consider issuing a further order after today?
Yes.
And Mr. Ward, are you asking the court to consider issuing an order after today?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Majetti Ramos,
Could-
you object to the.
could they not find her a better spot?
Yes.
They're dating.
Okay, and I know
Oh,
Fred, it-
they're holding hands. I
let
got
me,
it.
Like in high school.
access the documents again, and I've got notes here, but I always like to just re-familiarize myself.
Let's. I'll give you that one. You've been good with not too many dibs lately. So
I will also sign off on that as well. Yeah. go ahead.
you already know what her bedroom looks like. So. After you hear some things that Daphne was just saying about old Ashley, though, you might change it.
Have everybody talking at once, but I'm happy to hear from everyone in turn. And I have reviewed, the petition that was filed, the information. that
Ashley's
was
got some big
provided
balls
to the
on her
court,
bed there.
exhibits, if there's things you want me to refer me to, feel free to. Should I start with Ms. Reeves? Anything more, anything else you want me to consider here?
No, it was a good
I would
race,
just like
Brett. I'm
you
glad I
to
went.
Specifically, look at the 911 call that Ashley made on the 28th, where the bottom of that first page, Officer Dale, who's the one that spoke with Ashley, recommended that I get this order, as well as Officer Rollman, who is the school resource officer for the Tumwater School District.
Yeah, I know officers do that often, and that's up, they can do that, but the court has to evaluate the law.
See that
and the
grin
facts.
on Ashley's face right now, and she just said that.
But
Uh-huh.
just because an officer says go get an order doesn't mean that the court should issue it. We have to go through this whole process and make that determination. But is there something else that I should refer to from the?
Joseph.
You said the 28th.
Live from
The
Ashley's
she,
bedroom.
well, she's just calling the police because she's claiming that I am part of some bullying that's going on at our children's school. I tried to go to the school. I did go to the school and spoke with the principal, and there's nothing on record that has my name. There's no evidence that any of this is happening. She's just making
Ashley's proud of what she's done, by the way.
erroneous
The look on her face.
accusations and frankly just bent on harassing me and my family, and the text messages are threatening.
Okay, your kids, you got several, are these both Mr. Ward's? So you share these kids?
Yes.
Okay, so.
So are they saying these two have been bullying Ashley?
Different streets like just around the corner.
Opposite sides of the neighborhood.
All right, kids go to the same school, the kids in question go to the same school.
She recently pulled her daughter from that school, so they don't go to school any longer.
Anymore. Okay, and so I'm still looking for that. I'm looking in your exhibits and I'm not finding, see an August 22nd and a October 22nd. It's the readout from TCOM or you said a 28th.
Yeah, only stuff that I've seen while I was back and forth in this is Daphne saying a ton of stuff that Ashley's done, basically.
I hope there's text messages to read. You giant
I think
C
it's
word.
probably the last page because it was the most recent thing. It's towards the end.
The exhibit. Let me get there with you so I know what you're talking about.
Ashley's taking time off from her OnlyFans to do this.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. So it's the emails. I see. It's the emails that you had with Rollman.
Oh, no
Okay.
text, just some emails.
There's emails, yeah, and then there's also the 911 call as well.
All right. That's
Fact.
so.
I want you at arm's reach next to me, Laura.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Ashley could kick everybody's ass, including us.
Concern is the anonymous
Ooh, huge eye roll. Did you see that?
contacts from social media offering certain religious or prayer things, some vulgar and unwanted sexual content, emails or texts or sites, and name calling. It looks like a lot of that. But the kid, did this start? How did this all start? And did you know each other before?
Yeah, well, honestly, it started with her first overdose back in August. I'm sorry, August.
Hold up, what?
I was
Her
there
first
for that.
overdose.
She had invited our kids over for a tea party, and I called 911 because she wasn't acting right, and it just all basically spiraled out of control.
Didn't
from
see
there.
that coming.
She's been. I don't really honestly know why she continues to do this, but she does. We have
Kids, come over for a tea party while I get blasted.
we filed. We attempted to file an order.
it's a candle.
The family court. I have that number. I
Candle.
didn't realize there wasn't access to that from your side of things. We filed that
You said
on.
the previous order that ended 2 weeks before. So what's that time frame? 2 weeks
That-
before when?
We filed that court order on January 6th, and for those 2 weeks,
Nancy, good point. So the first
actually
overdose.
anonymous or
First.
directly from her at all. And then the second that was over, was when all of these anonymous things started happening, including the call to my son's school saying that he has access to a safe and could shoot up the school. I've had to speak with the principal there, and
Look at
they
Ashley.
actually never
Watch
even ended up
Ashley's
speaking to
face.
my son about it because they knew that it was not a legitimate call. But Officer Roman did have to come to my house just to verify that things were fine, which is when he also went to Ashley's house multiple times to try to ask her about this, and she would not
Oh, I
answer
bet he
her
did.
door.
And so that was sometime after.
He'd stay there for hours, grilling her.
That was in February, I believe.
Okay, so February. And then so that you get contact from the school saying what's up sometime in February, and we heard from, and did you know that the school had heard this from Ms. Majetti Ramos?
No, because it's anonymous. It's an anonymous tip line, and it's just on their website, which is similar to all the
Sure.
other ways that she's been
How
harassing
do you
us.
attribute that to Ms. Majetti Ramos?
Because she's literally the only person in our lives that would do anything like this, and it started immediately after the court. Like there was radio silence during that 2 week of the no contact order. That was an emergency temporary order, and then after that it just fired right back up.
All right. What then happened before January 6th that caused you to go to family
Such a
court to ask
safe.
for an order?
A ton of emails claiming that I'm harassing my children. But then she started speaking to the kids in the neighborhood, telling them that we're evil and mean and all kinds of stuff. So we initially just named the kids in the first contact order. I wasn't part of it, just because we wanted her to stop talking to our kids in the neighborhood. And when
How dare you?
Nancy, or she's really huge.
How long had that gone on before you went to Superior Court to ask for that order?
Probably about a month of her contact.
Yeah, and she keeps calling Daphne Mrs. Ward, by the
And
way.
so how would she talk to
Cleaver.
your kids?
Our daughters would play together, and we told our daughters that they're not allowed in her neighborhood, in her house, and she would continuously invite them in and put them in these awkward positions.
How
and
dare
go
she?
past the park and all these things and to stay away from her. And we had to put all this pressure on our children to avoid Ashley, and we felt that that was just not appropriate. Ashley was the adult in the situation, and she should have left our kids out of it.
And had you talked with Ms. Majetti Ramos to tell her, I don't want my kids in your house?
Yeah, I supplied lots of emails about that too, and there's text messages which were all in the previous.
Again, this is Daphne's
Okay, so-
job to make sure her kids are where they're supposed to be. These are
Good point.
juveniles.
My kids
These
in your
are underage children.
And then
But
you would find
Ashley's face
child
is
telling you that, and how old-
cracking
how
me
old
up.
each one of the kids? How old are they?
It's mostly Charlie, and she's 10 right now.
Okay, so
And she was just wandering around by herself.
Going over to Aunt Ashley's
how
house.
How would you discover that she had been in Miss Najetti Ramos's home?
She would tell us.
Okay. And then did you circle back around with Miss Najetti Ramos at that point? What would
Yes.
happen?
Yep. Yes.
Guys, Daphne's getting ready to say, send her kid over
Yeah, I
there
would
to
just- I would-
Ashley's
I
house
would
and
tell
came
her
back
that
with a sweater vest
that
on.
we have firm boundaries, that Ashley's
Real
drug abuse is
colorful, too.
concerning, and that we don't want our kids in our
We may have bought it. I don't know.
and
Oh,
flat
God.
handle
I
and
hope
these,
not. Jesus
text
Christ.
messages
Anything is
coming out,
possible.
You know, saying that they're at her house because I'm
Purchased a
abusing
lot of
them,
collared shirts. as
neglecting
well.
them, and all
Boy.
of these. It would just go nowhere.
Okay. So then you went to Spirit Court. There was a temporary order issued. Did you have a hearing or did you?
I'm going to
draw
send you a
that?
picture that I'm not going to show anybody else, but
We did have a hearing.
this is what he's going to end up looking
Mr.
like if he
Ramos
ever
never
goes to
submitted
a
anything,
NASCAR event.
And because it was mostly hearsay from the kids, and we didn't have any, I mean, there wasn't anything
keeps up with
concrete
dressing
that
like
we
that.
could bring to the table at that point. It was just dismissed, but there was nothing, just like this today, there's been nothing submitted by Ashley.
When February you receive information. from
He'll be
the
hanging out with them,
somebody has
for
said that
sure.
Your child has access to a gun and may shoot up the school, and so you have to deal with that. And law enforcement comes to your house, and that's where you meet Officer Rollman.
Yeah.
And right. What other things? And so you attribute that to Miss Majetti Ramos. What other things do you attribute to her, and how is it that
I think he's being
that
smart and just
she's the one doing
not
these things?
saying anything at this
Because,
point.
because there isn't anybody else in our lives that have done this or would do this. She doesn't have a job. She sits at home, and it seems as though she just spends hours registering us for emails and
We all do, Eric. I think he
Our
quit.
emails
I did
blowing
nothing
up,
last night either.
and our emails are blowing
biggest
up,
computer
both mine
quit.
and my husband's, with our names, and
Nothing in
and they,
writing.
and they weren't just, spam, because it was directed, it had our names on it. We would, Chris got multiple calls asking for him specifically. We had
I bet it was.
people knocking on our doors. We had Mormons who text my phone number
Mormons?
and
Not the
called me, and there's no way they would have got that without a specific registration. And it's hard to, I can't physically
Kind of
link
weird.
it
She just
to
threw out the Mormons.
Ashley,
Yeah.
which is why in my order I talk about how it's
Stick the
found
Mormons
the
on
stuff
her.
that she has done specifically to us recently, where she talks, and excuse my language, she talks about my fat ass a lot. And most recently she did that on the 28th, I believe was that text message date. But then those are also, it's a similar language in the anonymous text messages that
Yeah.
she sent on February 26th, I believe was the date for those.
Got a fat ass.
Text messages. Going back, just looking through the exhibits here.
Those are on the same page as the text messages from the Mormon girls who called us as well.
The
And they
Mormon
also
girls.
stopped by our house, by the way.
All right, so that was Sister Brenly Mason and Sister Maria Cruz. You're talking about that one,
Okay.
and they stopped by. And when you asked, so this text message. Okay, so I'm not sure who's writing this text message and when it was.
Yeah, there's no
IDAP.
way to know. Those text messages are they're not, the number is actually non-existent. You can use an app to send those text messages. There's plenty of apps out there.
Can the
you can
judge
use
say,
to send anonymously,
I
and so
can't rule on
when
that unless
tried
I
to
see
call
that
them
fat
back,
ass?
They go nowhere.
So you responded. Can you please tell me how you got this information? Did you get any information from that?
Yeah, she called. I spoke to them on the phone. They called me and they said that the number came
Big
from
difference.
the website that I specifically requested them to send text messages and to come to my house, and that was from a registration on a website, on their website.
All right. And then, so the April 28th, 911 call, the printout here. So tell me why you included that, what the court should take from that.
I just included that because of she called 911 on me specifically, And I included that because the officers are of their recommendation to get this no contact order and anti-harassment order.
And so let's talk more about, you said in your petition that you tried to provide information that was more attributable in your opinion as to Ms. Majetti Ramos taking actions that would harass you or your kids or your family. So let's talk more about that. Let's just bringing that up.
Doing the Lord's work, Ed. Thank you.
Where in that, well, you say that the principal explained to me that Ashley was irrational and yelled at her staff before she removed her child. So, but did the principal tell you that Ashley then was the one who said these claims that your son had access to a gun and when she placed up?
No, this is the most recent situation that Ashley's been dealing with the school about that happened in April, at the end of April. In Ashley's text messages, she claimed that the school has all these documents and statements about me being part of this harassment and bullying with neighbor kids, not even our children, with neighbor kids, and that there's statements from parents at the school. So I contacted Ms. Hinkle, the school principal, and asked to meet with her. And Chris and I both went there and spoke with her. And Ms. Hinkle showed me the documents that she said, I've spoke to all these children involved and none of them mention your name. The only mention of my name was the initial email to Ms. Hinkle when Ashley wanted to meet with her that said that she feels like this harassment that her daughter is dealing with is coming from me and the neighbor girls. But that was the only time.
A lot of freaking kids in this neighborhood, right?
Her, Mrs. Hinkle. And then Ashley came into the school and ultimately unenrolled her daughter because she wasn't getting the kind of results from the principal that she wanted, because the harassment that Ashley is claiming happened isn't really happening.
Ashley just laughed out loud.
See if I have any other questions. Is there anything else you'd like to say before I turn to Mr. Ward?
Oh, we get to hear from
I would just like to say that the protection orders seem to work really well. The last time it was very quiet, the 2 weeks that we had the temporary order in place. And I just feel like this is really the only thing that will keep Ashley from staying away from my family. She also did threaten to call my work next in the text message that is directly from her. She said, should I call your work next? So I just feel like there's no end to her harassment, and she chose to be very irrational when she doesn't get her way.
I hope that Ashley tells us what she hates about
daughter
Daphne.
from school. It's just not behavior that I would like in my life at all, especially around my children.
Harassment court on a Monday. How about that, huh?
The order the temporary order that Judge Buckley signed mentioned 100-foot distance from your residence. How, your address on, was it Cursa? No. You're on
She lives on the,
Cursa.
she lives kind of
I just said that
across the neighborhood.
Christopher gets to talk. I'd
So
imagine
she's not
Ashley gets her.
directly she's nowhere on our street. She's on the other side of
She
the
seems to be the
neighborhood, so
plaintiff, right?
that would be
So do you
100.
both use the same
Daphne and
road to
Christopher
get to and
against
from your
Ashley, I
homes or
think.
not?
Okay.
We have an entrance by my house and she has an entrance by her house. I do have to go past her house. My mom lives just around the corner from her house, but
Is
I do
Ashley
go that
mic'd
way
up? Does she have a mic right here?
often.
All right.
Oh, I think I got a lapel mic, right?
You have to go.
Well, is what they come lavaliers.
Do the best you can there. All right. And you've got 13 and 10-year-olds and an 8-year-old. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, Mr. Ward, I'll turn to you as one of the petitioners on this request. What would you like to focus in on or add or?
I guess the point I want to add is with the
hot mic,
this orchestrating this bullying ring that she claims.
Bullying ring.
The child that had the conflict with Ashley's daughter wasn't mentioned at all. Like, you would think if there was like actual bullying, that you'd want to talk to the child that's bullying your daughter, or and deal with that whatsoever. The child that was supposedly bullying her daughter, her father is a police officer. I think that's why that she's leaving them out. She's scared of them, but she focuses back on us and causes just a disruption in our house. I will say that when we filed the last order through the family courthouse, Ashley brought up my ex-wife into it and said that she talked to her, and
go on.
She fabricated a lot of things during that.
And Ashley's brutal.
Using my ex-wife's name.
Want to mess with her?
But I would say like the issue, like the thing that worries us is she will go out of her way to talk to our kids and say negative things. Like I've talked to my girls and said, like, is Ashley and her daughter said bad things about Daphne and I, and they're like timid, like yes they have, and it's like, okay, well let's talk about that. And the girls,
how's your bitch mama doing?
How's that?
I believe that puts
See you next Tuesday.
Not a great spot for a 10 and 8-year-old to try to play, not favorites, try to not get us in trouble or not cause any stir.
Why don't they just not let their kids hang out?
Yeah, I mean, put an end to them going and having contact with Majetti Ramos's family and her.
So when they're at our house, because I have 50-50 custody with my children, so they know they can't go anywhere near there. Like when it first started, when we told Ashley, like, we're not allowing our children in your house just because there's not proper supervision, where we can't trust that she'll be coherent. So we're like, that's why we ended that relationship of having our children in our house. And we told our kids to stay away. And then I have had my daughter in there afterwards. I've walked by, and she was walking out, and I disciplined my daughter. She cool. My daughter Charlie, the 10-year-old, she said that Ashley made her feel uncomfortable and guilty for not going into her house. And so
I think so, because the judge was calling her Mrs. Ward in the beginning.
So
recently divorced.
So
I'm guessing.
the counseling started.
Or that,
Me and my ex-wife. My ex-wife says that they have no relationship at all. My ex-wife's name is Misty. Misty claims they
Misty
have no
Ray.
friendship at all between her and Misty.
What a great stripper name.
It's just the friendship between my daughter and Ashley's daughter. It's the only friendship that she was trying to keep. But Ashley,
she's spending time with her mom, then you can't control that.
so that's part of the counseling. So like our counselor is fully on board. Is like he very recommended to completely get rid of it.
That makes sense.
You and Ms. Reeves have made the boundaries for your children, but obviously you've got to deal with them keeping them. They're kids.
Off my lawn.
But maybe there's another adult, their mom, that doesn't agree with that boundary, and there's nothing you can do about that.
They kind of went right through that real quick with the.
Is that why Charlie's ending up at Miss Majetti Ramos's?
Yeah, just don't
in your household.
Say, hey,
He doesn't go
knock
there.
him around.
He's never been
Sorry,
to
Carol.
Ashley's house. They've the only thing is that they've let Ariana stay the night once, not that long ago. But then Ashley had another episode of her where it's like a overdose, big suicide thing, and the mom they only FaceTime on the phone now. But our daughter has not been in Ashley's house.
Okay. All right. So I'm understanding kind of better the dynamics. All right. So, and as to you, Mr. Ward, you've received, these unwanted texts or sites or visits from folks at your door. You received those as well, or did they send the things? Or
Was that Ashley with the big sigh?
Yeah, I received them. Yeah, I got advertisements from adult dating sites and of course the religious groups. Yeah, I got them as well.
Sending the Mormons to her door.
And they are, before all this happened, I did not get any of these. I'm on the no spam list, no call list, for this.
Do they think Ashley controls those kinds of things?
lot of
All right,
rehab
so
centers.
these are emails or texts or
Emails, phone calls, texts, and then stops by the door. I mean, it was across the board.
okay, all right. And that
And again, what does she have to do with that?
and anything else? Just looking at your petition. Anything else you want me to consider before I turn to Ms. Majetti Ramos?
She is going to talk. Yes,
no,
yes.
I don't.
Nope.
See if I have any questions before I do. All right, so Ms. Majetti Ramos, what I'm being asked to do is issue an order preventing you, just like that temporary order that you received.
Are you okay for just a minute?
Contact
Yep.
with Ms. Reeves, Mr. Ward, and their kids, staying a certain distance away from them, not contacting them through social media, family, friends, in any way in person. So, what's your response to this petition and this information that the court's been given?
Ooh, here we
I have a
go.
lot to reiterate. Their blatant disregard for the court's time is despicable. Once again, we're here on false accusations. They are actually harassing me, and I have blocked them when this all started. They've been blocked. The only time that I unblocked her was to try to tell Daphne to leave myself and my daughter alone. Her friends harass me. She harasses me. If they were so scared, they wouldn't be driving by my house every day. They drive by slow. I have on cameras, on my neighbors' cameras, as well as
Let me zero
account.
you in. This isn't your petition asking for protection from the Reeves and Ward family. It's their allegations here that
Their allegations are false.
Respond to. Okay. So using phone numbers, email addresses, sign them up for random churches, adult websites, and anything to respond to there?
I have no time for that. I took my daughter out of public school because of bullying and harassment, which it was very traumatizing for my daughter, and she is now in seeing a psychiatrist because of this. And that was a part of Daphne. Daphne did take a part in that. And I have a
Why
lawyer.
do you attribute
dealing
that
with this.
to Ms. Reeves?
Miss Reeves, actually, the little girl Zoya told my daughter that Miss Reeves has had her over at her house numerous times, telling her that my daughter.
Who's Zoya? Who's Zoya?
Zoya, yes. Miss Reeves told Zoya that my daughter.
Girl? She's a kid that lives in the neighborhood?
Yeah. So
And how old is she?
She was in my daughter's class. She's 8 or I believe 9. I think she was held back. She's with a foster family right now.
Oh, just spilling all the dirt on this kid.
And she, with all the other kids that are unsupervised, go around the neighborhood and is at Miss Reeves' house. And Miss Reeves has told her that my daughter is a dirty Mexican and told her that to tell my daughter to slit her wrists and kill herself. This has been going on.
So
The
you
bullying.
hear this from the kid in the neighborhood who's
The kid in the neighborhood was telling my daughter this, and she claimed that Daphne told her this. I do not.
So that's
I
why
don't-
you attribute this to Ms. Reeves.
Yes,
because
I
of
do
what
not
you
know
know.
that she said that, and that is a
Yeah.
child saying that, and so I'm not going to assume that she. I would hope that she would not say that. But these are the things that are
She's a
being
little
told to my
kid.
daughter from that caused me to take her out of the school. She was pushed down numerous times.
So I'm not talking about your daughter and so forth. I know that's kind of surrounding all this, but this is a request for an order against you. So then we talked about something about
Ed makes a good point.
Ward family having to deal with the principal saying that one of their children had access to a gun and was going to shoot this.
I have no idea what she's speaking about. I have absolutely no idea what she is speaking about. I never called a school or emailed a school or anything. I don't have time for that.
And then,
nor would I do something like that to a child that I used to welcome into my home and take care of.
so let me ask you then about that text message about, do I need to call your work now or something to that effect? What was
Oh,
that?
I did say that because she is taking these 911 calls and spreading them across when she has no idea. These 911 calls, she's saying that I had drug overdoses. I did not have a drug overdose, and I have toxicology reports showing that I had no drugs or alcohol in my system, and it was a result of seizures that I'm having due to medications. And she is showing this to the neighbors.
This is
to
good.
my daughter's school, everywhere. These 911 calls, and
I wanna hear 'em.
Those are
How do you
irrelevant
show a 911 call?
to anything. I called
dial
911 to speak to them about my daughter's harassment, and in return they called.
Can you imagine if it's not her and it's another neighbor, and that neighbor's just sitting back right now and just kind of
Just watching it burn.
back and said that this had something to do with, did this have something to do with Daphne? And it turned into that.
All right. So
I love that they think she put them on
through all the
all these dating
information that
sites and sending Mormons to their house.
petitioners that are
oh,
available to
whoever orchestrated it was very good.
I had the principal. I don't know what, I know that she is lying about what the principal said, because I never went into the school and was irrational or anything. I went into the school and said that my daughter is still being harassed by this child, and I told the principal that there's being nothing done about this little girl still being in the school, in her classroom, sitting behind her, harassing her. So I am pulling her out of that school because
Ashley's got a little buck
I will
tooth
not have my daughter
action happening.
being harassed and mentally, this is going on. She's even called my husband's work and harassed my husband's work. Daphne has.
Yes, Nancy,
and my
yes.
husband actually has a very prevalent job in the Air Force. And
Prevalent?
now this is just getting
I
out
think
of
she wasn't
control.
going to say prominent. She prevalent. It's very
All right,
prevalent.
So
Durango.
and do you this
Trip
allegation
down
of
memory
inviting
road.
the Reeves Ward kids into your home, even
Never. They actually are over near my house all the time, and I have videos. I don't talk to her kids, and I've actually told Misty, Mr. Ward's ex-wife, that our daughters can no longer have any association. I've deleted
Misty
her-
Ray to the stage, please.
Their FaceTime. I will not allow my daughter to have any communication because Mr. Ward's daughter is telling my daughter things about them and saying despicable things that I don't want my daughter hearing, and I don't want my daughter around those
Like
behaviors.
dirty.
So I've spoken to his ex-wife, and I've told them that they can no longer have any communication, our children, and they were never in my house after anything. And the only time they are unsupervised all the
Why are
time.
these kids trying to hang out still
over-
after she just got done
I
saying
don't know.
behind her kid
riding
and
their
talk
bikes all the
crap?
time, harassing my child.
Typically,
Their
bullies
children
don't
do.
hang out with their victims.
And her throwing Zoya or whatever the name was under the bus, like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
She's a dirty faced kid that runs the neighborhood that lives in foster care right now. Her parents died of an overdose back in 1914.
Well, I just think this is a disregard for the court's time, and that they're doing this again, that they should be held accountable. And I am going to file against them because I'm being harassed not only by them, but they're having their friends harass me. And I don't feel safe driving because even as much as yesterday,
run off the
her
road?
friend, she had her friends
Right.
behind me honking me when I left the neighborhood.
They were honking her.
Going off on a tangent there.
Honk,
I
honk.
focus in on
I've done that tons of times. Getting in
Yeah,
trouble
I'm
every time.
sorry.
And filing petitions in retaliation or just cause it's not ever going to be a good idea. So, in looking at the court, and I think we've heard this before, is if in fact what I'm hearing is you're hearing things from children who the court can't accept their statements, they're not competent. 10 years and younger, they're not competent, they're not here to evaluate, and they're kids. A principal, and nobody can narrow that down to that principal and who it is and what they said and have them
I've had
here. and
5,
have
7
statements
year olds
under
come
oath,
tell me she threatened
neighbors.
my life.
So there's a lot of talk around each of you, and you're hearing about awful things about the other through third parties that the court can't evaluate. And it's created this great animosity among all of you. And if I would agree, if each of you believe the way you believe from these third parties telling you these things, and then I would be unhappy about it too. But the legal burden here, I understand that law enforcement said to Ms. Reeves and Mr. Ward, go to the court and get an order. I've still got to apply the law, and I got to apply the legal standards of proof. And I don't find
You're
that
welcome.
there's sufficient evidence that Ms. Majetti Ramos is doing all this. Now, maybe there is other proof, maybe there is more information, but it's not presented to the court here.
Who should keep
It's a
looking at?
supposition, it's a start. And again,
Daphne's
and
kids that are over
so
to
I
her
can't
house
issue
right
an
now.
order. I can't.
I thought
find
maybe it was her
Majetti Ramos
prevalent husband from the Air Force.
Prevalent.
But I think this has been really instructive. Ms. Majetti Ramos, the Reeves and Wards don't want anything to do with you, don't want you dealing with their kids. Ms. Reeves,
Prevalent.
Mr. Ward, Ms. Majetti Ramos doesn't want anything to do with you, doesn't want to see you, doesn't want
Prevalent.
you to have anything to do with her kids.
Very prevalent.
And so it's really clear.
Put your hand down. You done lost.
Court can do at this stage, because there just isn't sufficient evidence that this person is doing these things that would constitute unlawful harassment. Ms. Reeves, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering if the text messages that are from Ashley, those seem to fall under the harassment from what I looked
It
up,
would
where
have
she's
to
threatening to
be
call my work.
Something more than, I'm going to call your work, something more than calling names. It's not. If
She heard a
that's
knock on the
shoot,
door.
That was.
She's sending her one out. You dumb bitch. Haha.
The orders out there, but the
They
law is
actually
really
called my
particular.
husband's work, so that is harassment.
Stop. And again, I want to mention this whole idea that now you're feeling
Is that
predictable,
Mormons?
Jenny Ramos.
Or is it
and
Zoya?
you're like, well, I'm going to file an order against them. That doesn't get anything anywhere. Probably the best thing that all people can take from that,
Glad.
from this, stay away.
Good day, sir.
Instruct your children, do not contact. And as many have said, you've disciplined your kids when they've violated your boundaries. You've got to do that. But the best thing is,
I think Ashley's house need to
don't each other, don't
get
contact
TP'd
each
out
other,
front and some eggs thrown at the
maybe
door.
don't listen to all these third parties who have no good information. Maybe at some point, it might be useful to talk to each other in person about things. But
Oh no,
might
I don't
be
think
too
it
late
is.
now,
No,
because
no,
you've all
Judge.
taken these third-party suppositions and blown it into something bigger. I hope it's not what's going on. I hope, but I don't have any evidence that Ms. Majetti Ramos is doing.
Well, the judge basically just said, "Let's do this."
So
Yeah, let's hook it up.
this stage, then that's the hearing. There is no order, but again, I think it's been useful that everyone has been heard.
While you were gone, Mikey, Daphne was talking about the best 2 weeks of her life while the order was in place. It's super quiet.
But if so, if there's sufficient evidence of unlawful harassment from either side, obviously the courts are open to both sides.
Zoya's been hired.
And Ms. Reeves, you had a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering how if this continues, how do I go about, I'm at a loss because we haven't been able to do anything about this.
Excuse me, we have breaking news. Hang on.
And the court can't give you legal advice.
sorry, breaking
Lawyers can give legal advice. But the court
Oh. White House is on fire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
evaluate what's presented to it and the law as it is. And I know that's very unsatisfying, but from what I've evaluated here today, it doesn't merit an order.
Okay. There's nothing that, she doesn't submit anything with the things that she's talking about. There's never any proof of anything. And I do have the text messages that show that she's doing this. So
Right,
I'm just,
and even
I don't know.
as you said, even considering those text messages doesn't rise to the level of allowing.
Zoya, unknown child of the neighborhood.
So any questions, Ms. Majetti Ramos?
No.
All right,
Thank you.
Mr. Ward, any questions? No. Any other questions, Ms. Reeves?
No, I feel like it's going to be to the point where she ends up doing
Killing
something.
one of us.
very outrageous, and that's the only way that I'll be able to get it.
That's how I feel about you.
Let's not start. Just
No, let's.
we've
Come
had
on.
These hearings. Let's just leave each other alone and be done with it. It's not tit for tat. So everyone can get on your way.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Well, there it is. I'm glad we got to the end of that. Sorry, I got a my. I'm sorry that's so loud. By the way, blowing everybody's ears out.
Wow, what a way to go out on top, Creed.
That's a good way to end, if you ask me.
That is definitely a good way to end. Hopefully everybody had a good time. That was a humdinger of a case there.
That was pretty good. What do you think? What do you think? Is it Ashley?
She looks like it. I mean, she's got the look of a bully.
Kind of, sort of does.
They both seem very petty, and they can't get over things. You know, they just can't let shit go, so to say. And I think that's probably the biggest problem there. I like that Mr. Ward was dragged in there. He's like, great. My old ex-wife, Misty, mucking up the waters. I think Misty might, maybe her and Ashley like to hang out and laugh at these two. That's my best guess, though.
Sarge, we got to run. Mikey's got to go buy better clothing for his grandson.
Yes, much better.
Before
he's
there's
actually in the other room waiting on me.
Oh,
as we
cool.
speak.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll be back at 4:05. Mini Chase Monday, Creed. That's a whole bunch of little ones.
I'm ready. We'll see you at 4:05.
All right, guys. Make sure you like this video if you haven't already done so. If you would, please look for We Got a Case, which is our case only channel. Subscribe even if you already subscribed over here. That way you'll know anytime. You don't have to worry about missing out. As well as super thanks if you've gone this far and you'd like to thank us.
Oh, yeah. If you're in the future and not live, you can send things now.
Now you can
Like things
support
under
us.
money.
Yeah, you can give us support even when we're not live. And we'll recognize you the next time we are live. So make sure you utilize that, please, and thank you. And until next time, please remember. All rise. That's the wrong one.
All